Kingdom Come Deliverance 2's hardcore mode will be going live on April 15th, which is Tuesday, with patch 1.2. And I don't know about you guys, but I, for one, am extremely excited for this particular update. We're going to talk about hardcore mode in this video, of course, but the cool thing about this update is it's apparently much more than just hardcore mode, as Warhorse revealed that there's going to be 34 pages of patch notes. And when those patch notes are released, I'll skim through them, and if there's a lot of important things to talk about, I'll be sure to drop a video on all that extra stuff. So the footage that you're seeing right now in this video is from a Warhorse Twitch stream last month, where they showed us a bit of this mode. And as you can see, when you start a new game, you'll be able to choose between standard and hardcore. Hardcore is described as more realistic, recommended for players who are familiar with the essentials of combat and survival in the world of KCD 2. We did have a hardcore mode in the first game, and a lot of players really loved it, and now it's back for the second game. And in my opinion, KCD 2 is already one of the most immersive games in existence. Well, hardcore mode, believe it or not, amplifies that to the extreme, and I think a lot of you guys should consider trying it, especially if you already completed the game on standard. So hardcore mode does make the game itself a bit more difficult, but it also nerfs Henry with the negative perk system, which I'll be going over here soon in this video. In Kingdom Come Deliverance 1, hardcore mode made combat more difficult as attacks had greater impact, making armor more important. The AI were a bit smarter, and they tend to take more advantage of situations, such as when they outnumber you. And in this KCD 2 footage, you can see that there is no directional star to indicate what direction you're swinging your weapon in. You have to go by feel and practice, not to mention there's no visual cues for when to block or dodge. No green shield pop-up or anything like that. You have to find the natural visual cue, I guess I could call it, and really figure out the timing of your opponent's attacks. Also, I would expect no autosaves. Traders will likely pay less for items, repairs will be more expensive, and there's likely going to be more of a penalty for using damaged equipment. Henry is setting forth towards new lands by Lord Capon's side, and he isn't the lad he used to be. His adventurous life has taken a toll on him. Hardcore mode is a more difficult and immersive way of experiencing the game. You'll find that some players will play it for the difficulty spike, while others are more interested in the enhanced immersion, and then there's a ton of players, of course, in between that are looking for both, like myself. Helpful UI elements are limited both in and out of combat, and navigating the world relies solely on your sense of direction. Your character's position is never marked on the map, the compass doesn't show you cardinal directions, and fast travel is disabled. There's no health or stamina bar in hardcore mode. You'll have to rely on visual and audio cues. You're basically trying to feel out how Henry is feeling versus looking at a rectangle red or yellow bar. And you can see in the footage right here as Toby plays, there's nothing on the bottom of the screen. As for navigating the map, like I stated, there's no cardinal directions or quest markers on your compass, so you once again have to rely on natural immersive visual cues in the world itself. And remember that all of this is designed to make you feel like you're actually Henry versus playing a video game. Look for signs in the world, learn the roads, and a new feature that's being added is that you'll be able to ask NPCs where you are to get some locational information. You can also use the position of the sun in relation to what time it is to help you navigate, as well as the position of the stars in the night sky. Absolutely incredible. And KCD 2 actually does utilize a historically accurate star map. Very, very cool, and in my opinion, some of my favorite games of all time force players to actually engage with the world versus following gold markers. This is the way to do it. When you open your map in hardcore mode, there's not going to be a marker telling you where Henry is. GPS did not exist in 15th century. So what you have to do is figure out where you are by talking to NPCs, then open up your map, find the place on your map and pinpoint your location. And then let's say that you're trying to navigate to a town in the north, map out the roads a bit. Perhaps it's nighttime, look for certain stars, or maybe you just see something in the distance where you don't even have to really use your map. There's just something in the environment that you can see, such as if you have to go to Trotsky Castle is elevated higher than the other towns, so you should be able to see it in the distance. And also, not to mention, as you keep playing, you're going to naturally learn the map better yourself, and eventually you won't have to rely on everything in the environment. You're going to be a master of the map. Also, don't forget that fast travel is disabled for this mode, which not only forces immersion on the player, it also encourages the player to have more meaning and purpose and be more deliberate when they choose to go places. And when you actually arrive, to really take advantage of everything that you can in that area, as you may not be back for a little while. Now, on top of all of that, we of course can't leave out the ever so important negative perk system, which I think is great because it offers some custom difficulty for this mode, as you only have to choose 3 negative perks out of the total 10. Now, when this actually goes live, I will be live streaming a run where I take all 10 negative perks right here on this channel, as well as on my Twitch at WolfheartFPS. Let's go over all of the perks so you can start considering what you want to take right now. So the first perk is Bad Back. You can generally carry less, and whenever you bend to pick up a herb or mushroom, there's a small chance you'll strain your back and be left hobbling for a while. So like I said, if this sounds more frustrating to you than an exciting challenge, just don't pick this perk. The Bashful perk makes it so you can't ask people for directions, so it's more difficult to find your way around. Besides that, you're too shy to speak to the girls at the bathhouse, so you can't request all of their services. Since you're not much of a talker, gaining the speech skill is also slower. I really love how Warhorse doesn't just create perks, they actually try to make them realistic in a sense, and this perk is of course like a very socially anxious Henry. Hangry Henry is described as, in addition to the usual effects of hunger, starving also reduces your speech, charisma, and intimidation. Moreover, all food will fill you 20% less, and your digestion increases by 50%. So if you hated managing hunger in standard mode, perhaps you skip out on this one. Heavy-footed will make your shoes wear down faster, and you generally make more noise, so a nerf to stealth playstyles for sure. Menace. Once you're branded for a crime, the effect is permanent, and getting caught for any other serious crime will lead to your execution. What's more, guards will punish you more severely, and the consequences of these punishments will be more intense. This perk will make not getting caught much more intense when you're doing risky, suspect stuff. And that sounds pretty fun to me, as it will make gameplay more engaging. Numbskull is a flat-out 20% nerf to experience gain. So basically everything you do will take 20% longer to level up, meaning that most players will either be 20% weaker overall on their run for most of the game, or they'll be more motivated and incentivized to actually train in skills. And a lot of these perks and a lot of what hardcore mode does is it really encourages the player to want to engage with everything, and I love that about it. Picky Eater. Your pickiness causes all food in your inventory to spoil 25% faster. When gutting animals, you're also pickier and only get half the meat and other items from animals. Punchable Face. How about this one? Coming across travelers on the road is more dangerous, as is getting into a fight. Besides that, enemies never surrender and are more confident, making fights more difficult. Somnambulant. You lose energy faster, and every time you sleep, there's a chance your sleepwalking legs will take you somewhere else. That will be interesting in hardcore mode. I hope it doesn't take you too far away. Actually, when I was younger, I used to have a sleepwalking problem. Oh man, I could tell you guys a story on a live stream one time when I was in the Air Force for 6 years. Almost didn't make it through boot camp because I had this perk for a little bit. I ended up getting rid of it, but that's a long story. It was interesting. And last but not least, the Sweaty negative perk. You get dirty faster, meaning you start to smell faster. And when you do, you can be smelled from twice as far away, making you easier to detect. Plus, perfume doesn't give you any positive effects. I like perks like this because it places more emphasis on engaging, once again, with in-game systems and actually taking care of your Henry and doing laundry and cleaning yourself. On standard mode, I didn't wash my clothes that much and I got away with it many times. Not so much on hardcore mode, it doesn't seem like. So for more details, we'll of course have to wait until the 15th when we get all the patch notes, which I'm sure will give us everything that we need to know. With that said, if you're not interested in hardcore mode, don't forget that Warhorse still has 3 DLCs planned for this year. One in summer, one in autumn, one in fall. I'll have the roadmap pop up right now. And that's pretty exciting. Whether or not they'll get them all out on time, who knows? But I will say that I did see Tom McKay, Henry's actor, post on Twitter, I think last week, that he was on his final day of recording motion capture for this game. So that's obviously for the DLCs. It seems like they're making good progress. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope to see some of you guys during the live streams. And I think patch 8 for Baldur's Gate 3 is going to be coming out sometime this month. So BG3 and KCD2 are 2 of my favorite games of all time, so it's going to be a fun month. Catch y'all in the next one. Peace!